Lomzy team, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lomzy. My name is Uloma Ezike. In today's video is going to be about basque corset dress. Yes, that's what we're doing today. The one you saw on the thumbnail, we're doing exactly that basque corset. This will be the simplest and easiest tutorial on corset I'm going to be sharing on my channel. Yes, because there will be no bust pan, bust this, bust whatever bust panning. We're not going to be bust panning anything today. Yes, I know a lot of you guys don't like too much calculations. Yes, this tutorial is going to be so simple for anybody to understand, even a beginner. Even if you haven't touched the machine today, after this tutorial you'll be tempted to go and buy your own machine. So I'm going to be taking you through the measurements you need to take and how to take them. Yes, so what we need is round the bust measurement, the fullest part of the bust measurement. You take that round like that, the fullest part of the body, the fullest part of the bust, and then again you go to under the bust. Make sure you hold it tight under the bust, just exactly under your bust. You make sure you hold it very, very tight. Then you go to the waist, round the waist, you take that. Make sure the measurements you're taking, you're making it very tight. You know your corset is almost like it is sleeveless, so that's the only thing holding your dress. So you have to make sure it's fitted closely to your body. So you take that very tight there. So your next one is to go to the hip line and you take round the hip measurements. Yes, like that, the fullest part of the hips. You know, make sure your tape is not falling off the body. So that is about the round measurements. The next one you do is the lengthwise. We're going to be getting the lengthwise. I told you there's no bust pan, bust this. So the measurements we are taking next is the under the bust. Yes, under the bust length measurement. And again, the next one you need is the waist measurement. Then you need the length of the hip there, and again the dress length. That's what you need. And the last one you need is the armhole line. The armhole length, that's what you need. For you to get your armhole length, you turn back, your client, you turn the back, take it from there, like 1 inch away from the armpit there, 1 inch away. You take that. For this now is 8 inches, so you don't go lower than that. That's 8 inches. That's what you're taking. Just 1 inch below the armpits where there. Yeah. With this measurement, let's get to the table and draft it after the break.
You can join my Facebook group Sewing Tutorial by Lomzy and share any picture of a video you want me to make. Now let's get started.
What we are going to be using is a pattern paper to make this. I will tell you reason why you need pattern paper. You can actually draft this on your straight to your fabric, but I will tell you the reasons and why you need to draft on your pattern paper. Sometimes you will enjoy using your pattern paper to cut out first and then transfer to your fabric. That is for some designs. I'll be dropping the measurements we have gotten from that. I'll be dropping it so that you'll be able to screen grab it, and we continue from there so we don't waste a lot of time.
We will not be using the bust measurement for this pattern. All I measured that for was for you to know the size of bra cup to buy, so that you know you will not be confused. So we are going to be using bra cup 34 inches.
I'm going to be imputing the measurement we got from that. So first we have to get down is the shoulder, that's armhole depth, which is 8 inches. I dropped here. And under the bust length, 13 inches. The waist length we got is 16 inches. I dropped that here. And the hip length we got was 25 inches. And the dress length is 40 inches. I will drop that here. So I'm going to be marking another line to also drop this so that I'll be able to square this out.
So I would do 8 inches, 13 inches, 16 inches. The next thing we have to do is to put down these lines. Yes, I didn't take the during when I was taking the measurements, I didn't take the shoulder measurements. I totally forgot that. So what you do is take your measurements shoulder to shoulder. The bone, your shoulder bone, you take from shoulder, one shoulder to the other. That's the measurement how you're going to take it. The shoulder length is 13 inches. We're going to be dividing that by 2, which is 6.5. I will mark that 6.5. I'm going to be dropping it down on this armhole line. Let me label this. This is the armhole line. Armhole. This is the under bust line. This is the waist line. This is the hip line. And that's the length of the dress. Yes. So on the armhole line, I'm going to be taking down the same shoulder measurement there. Yes, and I will connect this. Now I'll be drafting this place in case you will want to add yoke to your own later. You will be able to freely do that. The neck would be 3 inches. The neck width is 3 inches. Then the neck depth for the front would be 3.5 inches. I'll be connecting this line to this line. And on the shoulder line, I'm going to be dropping 1 inch because our shoulders are not straight. Our shoulders are sloping, and I'm going to be connecting this to this line. Yeah, for you to understand this is the center front. Let me label it center front. The front of our front side. This is the center front. This is just the front alone we are drafting. Then for us to get the armhole curve for the front, the measurement from here to here, you divide that by 2. This is 7 inches. You divide that by 2, you will get 3.5 inches, which is here. We're coming in by ½ inch here like that. And we're going to be connecting from this line to wherever when I'm done getting this. Now the next measurement we have to do is we're leaving this side, we're going to this side. Yes. So the next measurement we're going to be getting now is the underline. On the under bust line, this is your armhole depth. Not here. We're going to the under the bust. If you can see, we have eliminated the bust points, bust span, whatever. This is where that thing is. We're not going to be touching there. What we're bothered is the under the bust line, and that's what we're going to be doing now. We have 28 inches. That's the measurement we got. We are going to be dividing that by 4, which will give us 7 inches, and I'm going to be marking that here. 7 inches. Now you have to note something very important. I have not added any easing allowance. I have not added any sewing allowance. I'm just taking it straight. Yes, it's that simple. So the next thing I'm going to is the waistline. The waistline is 25 inches, and I'm going to be dividing that by 4. What I will get is 6.25, and I'm going to be putting that down here. 6.25. No sewing allowance, no easing allowance. I go down to my hip line, 36 inches. I will divide that by 4. It will give me 9 inches. I will drop that. I'll maintain this 9 inches down to this place.
So 9 inches to here, to the hemline. I'm going to be connecting these lines, all these lines. So let me first of all connect this one straight. The next is to connect this from the waistline to the hip. I'll be using my hip curve to connect that. Yeah. So the next is to connect this line to this. While I'm connecting it, I just leave it like that. You see what I have done? You just leave it like that and you connect this to this place. Now once I have connected this, I have taken care of my bust measurement, round my bust. You see what happened there? Yes, very good. So the next thing I want to do is to shape the lower part for the penciled side. You know the dress is penciled. Yes, so I am going to be taking down measurement for me to shape this place. So from the hip line, I'm coming down 3 inches here. Take note of this measurement. Then from the hemline, I am going to be coming in 1 inch, like that. 1 inch, 1 inch. Then for me to shape this from my waistline down to where I want the shaping to start, I want it to be 18 inches. I'm going to be measuring from the waistline down to where I want my shaping to be on the leg, which is 18 inches here, like so. Then I am going to be coming in here 1 inch also. You know I came in 1 inch here, so I am going to be coming in 1 inch here, like that. And I'm going to be connecting this line. I hope I'm not too fast. And then I'm going to be shaping this like so. Remember, I have dropped this here 3 inches. I am going to be shaping this like that. I hope I am not too fast. If I am too fast, I think there should be a setting where you lower the speed of the video, so you can lower that. Now you have this. We have the shape we're looking for. The next thing I will do is to give the shaping for the armhole curve. So this is the armhole curve for the front. Now I am going to be connecting this and this for the armhole curve for the back. For the back armhole curve, I will connect these lines. I'm going to be marking the back neck. I forgot to do that, which is 1 inch. And I'm going to be connecting this here. Yes, this part is totally if you want to add yoke to this. And I will tell you reason why it's always good to work with your pattern paper. Remember I told you that. Yes. So the next thing we want to do now is the shape of the basque. We want to get the shape of the basque. So what we do is 3 inches below the waistline. I am going to be taking that down. 3 inches below the waistline. I mark that here. From the waistline, we go down 8 inches. We'll go down 8 inches on the front, center front. I go down like that. Yes. So I am going to be connecting this to this. Mind you, the video I'm doing today, the corset I'm making today is for exactly the one that is on the thumbnail.
the basque corset that is on the thumbnail. That's exactly the tutorial I'm doing today, the type of corset I'm doing today. So I am going to be joining this to this. Yes, there's a space that is in between our bust, female bust. So that space, I am going to be taking care of that. On the thumbnail, if you notice, the space they gave there is wide, so I'm going to be making that 1 inch. But ordinarily, if I'm doing mine, I don't make it up to 1 inch. I make it 0.75 or so that it's not that too wide. But what we have on the thumbnail is wide, like 1 inch, so I'm going to be taking that into consideration, because you need to make what the client wants, not so that you don't run into what the client gave me versus what I made. So with that, I'm going to be drafting 1/2 inch. I told you it's 1 inch, so that divided by 2 would be 1/2 inch, 0.5. So I'm going to be marking that there like that. I will take down this way. This will give us the guide on what we're doing. But now, if you want to actually alter that space that is wide like that, you can come in you can use 0.75 and divide that by 2 and come in, so that yours will not be wide. But I want to do exactly what I have seen on the thumbnail, guys. So this is the 1/2 inch. So the next thing we have to go to, guys, is the almighty corset. That's where we have to go to now, which is here. So we are going to be introducing our cup here. You can use any bra cup of your type, but this is what the regular type we have in Nigeria, so that's why I'm going to be doing this with this. Any type of cup would work wherever you get your cup. So what you have to take into consideration is this. You have to, your breast, the front part will have to touch this line, and this will have to touch the line under the bust. So let's place this here. When you have placed these two here like that, the next thing you decide is, do you want this line, you want it standing straight like this, or you want it curved like this? If you want it curved like this, making sure you're touching the two sides. This is more feminine though, but that's not what we have on the thumbnail. Remember, what we have on the thumbnail is like this. See how it is? This is what we have on the thumbnail. So meaning this would have to be like so. This bra cup will have to be like this. Yeah, you'll be wondering, why is the bust extended to that side? Yes, I want to show you this because with this cup is always not that when you sew it, leaving it like this is not always that curvy. It's not always that, the cup doesn't come up that well. So what we do is, when we have placed this here like this, the next thing you do is to use your hand, push this up like so. You see, when you have pushed it up, this has increased, helping you to make sure your bra is standing up like that. The cup you need is properly in place like that. So I will be leaving it like this, holding it. I will have to trace down the shape of the cup. So I'm going to be taking the shape of this cup. Once it's like this, so you have to make sure you know where they stopped. You have to note where your cup stopped. Make sure it's exactly where your drawing is. you make sure you note where your cup stopped. Like this one, the cup stopped on this place, you mark it. On the front panel, it also stopped here, so you're going to be marking that exactly there. So once I have these 2 points here like that, I am going to extend this one to this place. So I'm going to be squaring this out. And this line here, I am going to be joining it to the armhole. So I join this here to the armhole like that. You see our corset is already coming up. Now I have to explain something to you here. This place now, if you want yoke, you can actually design how you want this cup to be. If you want it to come up like that, if you want, however you want this place to be, and you now draft yoke to your own. This tutorial we're doing doesn't have any yoke, so it has this joining here. So we are going to be joining from this place to this like that. That's what you have there, the net you have there. You see it came this way. Did you notice that it didn't come like this, it came like this? So we are going to be doing this like this. Yes, this is what we have there like that. Now why I say it's good to always have your pattern, now you can trace this out. Maybe you just want this lower part, the skirt, you want it like this, you can take this down that way and that will be your skirt if you want to make this into just a skirt. Or you can decide you just want the basque corset alone without being a dress. You can trace out from this place and you use this alone, and you just, when you're doing it, you just use bias and finish the hemline, use bias to finish here and here, and that is it. You have just the corset. That is why it's important to always do pattern when you want to work, especially very tedious work, so that you just go back and take your pattern, trace out, and you have your design there. You start working from there. So the next thing we're going to go to is our back. That is after the break. So remember, we have not added any sewing allowance on any part of this. Not added any sewing allowance. With this, I am going to be cutting out this from these places. I will cut out the front, the back. This is the back, so I'm going to be tracing it off and cutting off like that. Come this way and cut off just the front neck. I'll be leaving every other thing like that. So let me do that and get back to you guys. I've cut this out like this. If you notice here, it was sharp. I didn't cut it exactly here. I had to give a curve so that I have a very nice smooth curve there. So I didn't cut it like that. So remember, I told you this video I'm making is exactly the one on the thumbnail. This is not the approach I use for my corset, but for the sake of this particular design, that's why I'm using this approach to do it. So I get exactly what I was given, stroke what I made to be the same. That's why I'm using this approach. Yeah, so the next thing we have to do is to draft the back, right? Very simple, very easy. I told you I'm not going to be taking you through any of these calculations here and there. So all you just need to do is take this, turn it that way, and you place it exactly, you know, that's why I had to extend all these lines so that the lines are the same thing. So you just place these things. If you can see the groove of the lines, you take it there, place it exactly like that, like so, and you trace out. So I'm going to be tracing this out now like that. I like to make life easy. Now, if you haven't joined my Facebook group, Sewing Tutorial by Lomzy, consider joining so that you'll be able to send any picture of a design you want me to make, and I will be glad to make that for you, because that's why I am here on YouTube, to make you happy
and not make the mistakes that will land you to police station. Now, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do so below so you don't miss any of my sewing tutorials. You never can tell, hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of my videos. It might be a video that I'll be doing a giveaway and you miss that and you don't want to miss any of that. So hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of my tutorial. Yes guys, our back is ready. Boom. Just like that. Life is so easy like that. So what I'm going to be doing for you now is to cut out this here and this here. So this will be my center front and this will be my center back. So I cut this out. Now this, I am leaving this if you want to add a yoke to yours, but for this tutorial, remember it doesn't have any yoke, right? Yeah, so I am going to be cutting this off like this. Cut it here like so, but I am not going to be cutting this because I told you guys that I like to work with patterns because I can actually use this for another tutorial and I can always use this for any other design. So I'm not going to be touching, I'm not going to be messing with my pattern. I'm going to be leaving this like this and I will trace out what I need from this. I will be showing you how to trace out this. So I'm going to be cutting these things out and trace out for me to, you know, alter my design. I've cut out the two. This is the back, this is the front. I am going to be starting with the back now. Let me keep this aside and work with this. So what we are going to be doing now is we are going to be tracing this out, the place where we need, and when we trace out, we'll be adding the patterns we need. And I'm going to be showing you how to properly trace out your pattern. So with this, I want 1/2 inch sewing allowance for my back, for the zip side. So I am going to be adding that here. 1/2 inch zip allowance. So I'm going to be taking this, square it out up and down. And I'm going to be adding 2 inches hemming allowance to this. I am going to be taking that here. And I will square it out. Yes, so I am going to be placing my pattern like this. Exactly there like that. And I'm going to be tracing out this way. Yeah. So I am going to be marking these lines out so that I will maintain my line. Trace this out like so. So what I have here, from here to here, I am going to be putting that down there like that. From here to here, I am going to be putting that down there like that. So I am going to be noting what this is. 3 inches. I'm going to be taking that here like that. So I notch up my line. Yes, I didn't actually see the back of the design, but I am going to, you know, assume some certain things. So I am going to be assuming that this would have a v-neck at the back, and I'm going to be taking that here like that. That is what I am going to be assuming, because I didn't see the back. So it's always good if you see the back of what you're making, so that you replicate the same thing. But this is, if you have a picture of the back of this dress, you can send it to me on my Facebook group, Sewing Tutorial by Lomzy, and show me the back, so that I will always, you know, review and tell you how to make the back. But this is how I feel the back should be. So once I have it like this, I am going to be adding all the sewing allowances I need for all these places. The side seam allowance to be 1/2 inch. So the next thing I had to do is to go to the front. Let me shift this so that you'll be able to see it very well. So I am going to be going to the front. Now to this front, we are going to be tracing out the shape of our design. And I'm going to be tracing out from here. I will trace out this way. I will trace out here like that to this place, and trace it out like that. And I'm going to be separating this while I'm tracing it out. So the tool you will need for this is this tracing wheel. That's what you will need to trace out this, because you don't want to alter your pattern, you don't want to, so that you'll be able to use it again. So what we do is we're going to be tracing here like that. You trace this place. When you're pressing this, you're actually indenting a hole on this fabric. That way you'll be able to see what you have done. So I will continue like this. And I'm going to be taking this here like that, and to this place. So that's it here like that. You can see it has indented that there. I don't know if you will see it, but I am going to be, I'm seeing it, so I am your mirror now, so I'm going to be doing that. I will trace out all these things and mark them out. Yes, once I have this like this, I will trace out so I am going to be tracing out the sleeve here. This one, I'm going to be tracing it out in another place. So I'm going to be adding sewing allowance to that. Like I told you, if you want, you can have this like this and you sew it like that. But because we have another fabric here, I am going to be tracing this out again on another pattern paper, So I am going to be adding half-inch sewing allowance to all these places. Half-inch sewing allowance. Now, very importantly, I am going to be adding the sewing allowance here matters a lot, because if you add too much allowance to curves, it will alter what you're making. It will make you either the circle itself is bigger or this one is bigger, and you want to avoid that. So what you would do is you take 0.25 sewing allowance all around this place for any curve that you're sewing. So that's what we are going to be taking around this. 0.25, that's quarter of an inch. Quarter of an inch, that's what you take all the way around. And remember, whatever allowance you have added to whatever you're making, make sure that's the same exact allowance you're taking out. That is very, very important. So I am going to be connecting these lines, and then this will be half-inch. So I'll be taking half-inch all the way there, and again I am going to be separating that. So let me do that and come back to you. So I have traced these things out. Remember, this is for this place, this is the back. I've traced it out. I don't have enough pattern paper, so later when I have enough pattern paper, I will trace out this place. I'll trace out this place when I have enough pattern paper. Then also I have traced this out like this. This is for this place. I have also added half-inch sewing allowance to this place. So when I trace out this part, I am also going to be adding half-inch sewing allowance to that. So for now, let's go to the almighty corset itself. We are going to be dealing with how to get the pattern of that thing out now. Let me take this away. Now always remember to label your patterns. Don't leave them like this. So you label them with the waistline, whatever. I'm going to be doing that off camera. So make sure you always label your patterns and write the sizes. Keep all your notings on your patterns so that it will be easy when you come back to them. Even you can draw out the design of the pattern you have made, so that when you look at it exactly, you will know what you're making. So I'm going to be keeping this aside, and we're going to be working on the corset. Right. What we have to do is either you make this complete with one full whole fabric, or you decide you want the fabric to go this way and cut it into two, and you have design for your cup. It depends on totally what you want for that. But I'm going to be showing you the way I will show you. You'll be able to do it in different ways, any design you want. So let's go there. You get a fabric that is wider than your cup. That's what we're going to be working with. And you need pins. I have a video on how to make a pin cushion. I'll be dropping that in the description section, and I'll be dropping it, the iCard, up there, so you go ahead and learn how to make this if you're interested, you want to have this. So what you would do is, this is your bra cup, cover it up with this fabric, go ahead and be pinning this like this. Pin it all around like that. I told you I'm going to be making life easy for you. No calculation, no boss pan, boss piece.
So you go ahead and pin this like that. So you go ahead adjusting it as much as you want. It depends on where you want to have that. If you want to have that on this lower portion and you want to have a cut on this, then you make this like this. Continue with your, you see what I'm doing? This will be a dart here like that. So I am going to be pinning this place. I'm not holding my fabric tightly. I'm going to be pinning it like that. You will be saying, when we were making this, we had to fold this like this. So why am I leaving it like this to sew it? No problem. By the time you're sewing it, because the curve you want there is like this, when you sew this, it comes like this. When you sew it, it follows that curve that you have given it. So don't bother that is, we have left it like this and we are making this. There is no problem with that. So I am going to be continuing what I am doing before the distraction. So I come this way. See, all my darts is bunching up here. Yeah, so once I have it like this, this is what I have like that. I'm going to be pinning it this way. It depends on where I want the shape, how I want the shape of this to be, remember. So, but I am going to be pinning this like so here. If you notice, I have used the center of this. If you want this dart to go that way, it depends on how you want it. But I am going to be maintaining this like that. Come this way. See my apex. Life is so easy like that. All my pins are finished. It's easier to pick from your pin cushion than picking it from the floor. That would be frustrating. You see what I'm battling? But if it was on my pin cushion, it's so easy for me to pick it. So once I have this, I will do this. So now that I have it like this, I can decide the design I want. I can decide I want just two pieces. I will mark this up like this. But if I decide I want to have this one like that, so I will make this shape, I will mark it this shape like that, and when I loosen this, I would use the shape of what I am making. So but now I will mark it. After marking it, I will leave it. I won't cut it up open, you know, so that I like to replicate my designs. I don't like to waste my time, and you know, I'll be frustrated again when I want to do the same particular thing. So I am going to be cutting out this. I'm going to be cutting out all this here. Now you have to note something. With this, the sewing allowance to this has been added. All these places, the sewing allowance has been added because in the cup it has a sewing allowance already on it. So the sewing allowance has been added. the sewing allowance they have added is 1/4 of an inch, just the same thing I did on that pattern. So that's what you have to note there. So we are not going to be adding another sewing allowance to this. Yes, so I have cut out all this. You make sure they are trimmed exactly to what you have here. Do you think this my video deserves a big thumbs up? If you feel it deserves a big thumbs up, give me a big thumbs up and leave your comments in the comment section so that I will be able to be happy to know you have understood what I am teaching. You know, this gives us the morale to make more videos. Yeah, so once I have it like this, what do you think this is? What do you call this? This is called darts. And we are going to be taking this flabby is going to go off. And this line is actually a design line. I had to leave it here in case I want to make this part another fabric, and this lower part will have another fabric. It actually totally depends on your fashion designing style or style line, whatever you want. You can decide you want it to, you divide it like that. That's why I have left this line here. This will be 1 and this will be 2. So it depends on you, totally on you. So I am going to be cutting up this flabby. We are going to take away this. We don't need it. Can't you see how I've made life this easy and this beautiful, guys? So I am going to be taking this out, take out my pins, and they are going to be safely staying back in their pin cushion. When I have it all out, I'm going to be tracing all this pattern out on my pattern paper. So let me do this, guys. Boom! We have our corset pattern. Guys, tell me, did I make life easy for you? If I did, just help me. Tell me that in the comment section and I'll be so happy. So I am going to be tracing this out now. Yes, and when I do, I'll mark that 1 and 2 just like that. When I trace it out, I'm going to be adding my sewing allowance. Remember, we have not gone to the sleeve. We will be getting to that. So I'll be tracing this out. The pin cushion can go by the side. You have done the work you came to do. Mwah! So I told you I'm going to make this 2. This is going to be 1. I need to shift this. Anyway, guys, just trace out. Have this here. Now remember, this side has sewing allowance already, this side has sewing allowance already, but this place doesn't have, here doesn't have, here doesn't have. So you are going to be adding 1/4 of an inch sewing allowance to this. You add 1/4 inch sewing allowance to this place and add 1/4 inch sewing allowance to that place. This is what you have. This is 1. As you can see that. So the next thing you have to trace out is this. I don't like to waste my pattern paper. You can see how they are. You do this, trace out, trace out, trace out, trace out, trace out. So we're also going to be adding 1/4 inch here, like that. This has, and that has. So that those are the places that have the allowances, like that. You see that? If you want to join my online class where I teach pattern tutorials and freehand sewing, you can contact me. I'll be dropping the link in the description section below where you will join my online class, and I'll give you the details on how to join any of the online classes. I'll be dropping that in the description section below, so you go ahead and contact me to join my online class. Yes, now the sleeve pattern, I have a video on how to make sleeve. I'll be dropping that in the description section, and I'll be dropping that above here. You see the iCard here, I'll be dropping it. You know how to draft the sleeve. Is the same one. If you want to draft sleeve pattern, or you want to draft freehand cutting sleeve, I have the both of them. I'll be dropping that in the link below so that you'll be able to draft the sleeve. For today's tutorial, thank you guys. In the next video, I'm going to be showing you how to sew this corset, basque corset. Now, thank you guys. Bye.